All right, so this is part 2 of the Sidechain tutorial. We're going to talk about how it all works. All right, so here's where we left off. All right. So when you drop the compressor down, well, let me just start from where we added the compressor. So we dropped the compressor in. Normally, this track is just going to react to itself, or the compressor is going to react to whatever track it's on, right? So that's the input of the compressor. So that's just going to, make the track, compress the sound, reduce the dynamic range. All right, so when you expand this drop down and turn on the sidechain, the compressor is going to react to whatever track you want the audio, whatever you set the audio from drop down to. So, I mean, you could make it react to sidechain. You can make it react to if you had a snare track and you just, you had some guitars or something and you wanted the compressor to duck whatever track it is based on whatever the audio input is. I guess you could make it react to itself again, but that'd just be redundant. But I think it works. Hey, it works. It's pretty cool. All right, so that's all sidechain does. It just makes the compressor react to whatever track you set it to. All right, so what about, there was a cool house loop. What about if you have, let me turn these off. Let's turn it. Okay, so what if you have a loop and it's got, you have like a pre-rolled loop and it's got all the elements in it, not just the kick, it's got snare and all that other good stuff. You can still have it react to just the kick, have the compressor react to the kick in the sidechain. So what you do is you go over back to the sidechain, you make it react to, change the input to the loop, turn the EQ on, and what this does is you can drop a, let's see, this is a high cut or a low pass. I think this is a low pass, technically speaking. You can make it so it only reacts to the sub-frequencies of whatever the loop is. Okay. All right, so that's still the kick. If I turn it up, that's the whole loop. So you can see it jumping a little bit. All right, so we turn that down. And that's supposed to be just the kick. And you can hear what it's reacting to if you just flip the headphone icon on. Okay. So we just want it to react to the kick. Turn that off. All right, and that's another way to use the sidechain if you have like a loop. Now, what about the parameters of the compressor itself? Well, if you want the effect to be more extreme, you can increase the ratio. All right, I would probably drop the attack all the way down so that it's super quick, so that the kick hits and then the compressor immediately triggers. All right, and if you have a really extreme setting, all right, you see that the gain reduction meter doesn't go all the way back to the top. What you can do is shorten the release time, and see how it goes all the way back up on that last kick. It probably would be consistent if you would just use the other loop, but so let's dial that back up. And you probably wouldn't have it as extreme as that unless you were doing like Fidget House or something where it's pretty extreme. And so what I like to do is make the release quick enough that it just touches back to the top. Like the gain reduction just goes back to 0. All right, and you can see the effects of that. Flip this little meter switch right here. And that gives you a visual representation of if you imagine that as a volume knob just going up and down. So that's the compressor reacting right there. So I'm just going to mess with the settings and just watch the meter, or watch the little the animation. All right, so you can see here that it's going back up a little early. So there's a space. So let's go back. Let's increase that release a little bit. And it looks like as soon as it gets back up to the top, the next kick happens and it drops back down. I'm not sure what auto does. Seems like it does kind of the same thing. Whatever floats your boat. As far as peak and RMS, peak, the compressor reacts very quickly. RMS, root mean square, I believe it just affects the average level. It's a lot slower. The compressor is a lot slower when you do this. Yeah. So it's not as extreme. I mean, you can certainly make it that way, but yeah. I'm not 100% on that, but generally, like when I use compressors and when most people use compressors, they'll use peak on like percussion and stuff, so because the compressor will react a lot quicker. Whereas in like, if I was using it for maybe like bass or something, I would probably use the RMS setting. All right. So that's pretty much how that works. I mean, there's just a couple different ways you can go about it as far as what you want. Now I had mentioned guitar earlier. If you had just a snare drum, like a snare track, I don't know if I could do it with this, but if you had just a snare track and like it was competing with the guitar track because of the mid frequencies, you could just drop a sidechain compressor on the guitar and then have it react to the snare and duck the guitar track just a little bit so that the snare comes through and it punches through better. That's one way to use it. But mainly for this, you'd use it as an effect. And the other way would be for like bass. If we have like a subby kick and like a subby bass, they're probably going to fight each other. And so that's a good way to remedy that. And what I would do probably in that case, like if you didn't want that pumping effect so much, keep the attack way down and make the release really quick. And you probably wouldn't want the ratio up so much. Peak. Right, so you want to just get that initial when the kick happens, and adjust that with EQ. So anyways, so there's a couple different ways to go about sidechain compression and how it kind of works. The main thing to understand though is that when you drop a compressor on a track, normally it's just reacting to whatever the input is on the track. So whatever this track is, that's what the compressor is hearing, and then that's how it reacts. Whereas when you drop in a sidechain, all you're doing is changing the input to a different track. So you could make it a kick, a loop, whatever you want. But those are the main things to understand. Hopefully this helped. Check me out. Check us out. Or check out Obscure Machines, rather. I'm on Sounds to Sample, Beatport. Got plenty of MIDI packs. Got some sound packs going. Got some new exciting things going on. Lots of projects in the loop. Check out the Facebook, the website, obscuremachines.com. Subscribe, comment, ask me any questions, video requests, whatever you want. All right, so hopefully this helped you guys out. See you next time.